third coat here, and I ran out of the gray doing this part. I had some black, but I didn't want to use that, so I'll use some more yellow. It'll be easier to cover up. And all we're trying to do now is just still a little bit of weave showing. So you can see how it's spreading out. A little bit of weave I can fill in. Mainly now I want to fill in these rough edges right in here, so I'm going to finish this off and we'll come back when I'm doing the sides. So on here we're going to do the dribble over the edge kind of trick again. And I'll probably go to my smaller knife. And watch the barbels. You see how it's taking more. Oh, thunder. We've been having some hellacious weather this week. It's just the first week in May and we've already reached our October normal end of October total rainfall. So you can see basically that's what I'm trying to do is to fill in these little, the bottom I can stand a little bit of seeing the weave, but not on the sides. Actually, the yellow doesn't work too bad for this. It's showing me exactly where I need to be. This is all I'm mainly spending my time on this because I just barely have enough epoxy left to make. I also want to go around and look for any spots that look like they might be going to run on you. All the way around the hole. One of the other things you want to do now too is try to get, if you have a bright handheld light, to shine it along the edge and see if there's any spots. Just getting some roller marks along in here. And look for thick spots and spots that may still be thin, but I'm Really don't have any more epoxy, so what I have is what I have. So next we'll come back and use some, I got a little bit of System 3's two-part epoxy primer. I'm going to use up the rest of that can, probably around the edges and over the bottom. I may be able to get a full coat over the whole boat, but I mainly want to get that on the sides here where it's more visible setting in the water. The bottom can take care of itself, and I'm still debating whether or not to go to a teal color or a light blue. Well, a medium light blue. I was holding up the color samples up to the sky, and I guess if I was a fish, I was thinking, well, I don't see anything up there. It just looks like it's blue sky. So if you have another color boat, the fish might say, oh, dark green, blue boat, red boat, whatever. Must be somebody out to get my relatives or me. So I figure, and I've never painted had a boat that was that kind of like a medium light blue. So it looks pretty to me with the wood trim and the gray interior. So it should look good. But then your mileage may vary, so I don't know. We'll come back on the painting. Just finished sanding the whole hull, and get it down to where it's not shiny anymore. Don't over sand it, just I went over it with 100 and some 150 and get it buffed down. So now I'll mix up some two-part epoxy primer and put on. I was going to go with just a regular the Ultra Cover primer, but I've got the two-part epoxy from System 3, so I'm going to go ahead and use that up and get rid of it. So that'll give me at least one coat between epoxy and the epoxy primer, and then if I need to prime more, I'll use the Ultra Cover primer on top of that, and it'll stick to that primer. So we'll come back after I get done wiping it down. I've got to vacuum it and then wipe it down several times with a dry cloth and then a damp cloth. Well, I got to thinking about it, and you don't have access to, may not have access to the primer. So I'm just going to go with something that everybody else has, because I want to try this on the glass. I've never had a chance to try this. It's worked good on the inside on all the parts, the filleted and glassed over taped parts on the inside. It stuck really tenacious to that. So I'm going to go ahead and paint with my little Rust-Oleum here. Here. And then this is all brushed. So I'll probably do 2 coats on this. I don't know how far this can will go. I may have to buy another can. I need to get a can for the paint anyway. Color. I know my poor arthritic old hand here is going to be hurt. I took my leave this morning before I went to the gym. I think I might put on 2 coats, put on a thin one first just to see how it sticks. Got the first coat on, and it's really warm out. What shop came up to about, well, it says it's still 60, but I know it's warmer than that. Or maybe it's just because it's warm outside. It's probably going to be 80 degrees today, so it's curing or drying quickly, and that's the first coat. We'll come back putting the second coat on. I still got a little bit of weaving in here I can see. I probably would have got rid of some of that if I had had more of that the gray pigment paste, and I would have seen it, it showed up better. But then you can't get too much on the sides, otherwise it starts dripping on you. So after much debate and endless pestering of people asking, do you like this? Which one of these colors do you like? Which one of these colors do you like? I'm finally going to settle on this color. and it looks kind of gray, it looks kind of green, it looks kind of teal, depends on the light. So, well, there's the first coat. We'll see how it shapes up. I'm beginning to wonder, I used a gloss paint. I'm thinking maybe I would have rather, well, it's going to be a wet look, so I guess gloss is fine. I was thinking maybe a satin might have been a better choice. We'll see. It's a little greener than I thought it was going to be. Well, you were expecting to see me putting on a second coat of that paint. I applied the paint on a Friday. It was warm enough in here, and I came out on Saturday morning, and it was still kind of damp feeling. So I took my thumbnail and just, you know, a light scrape along there. I leave behind white primer and green, blue, teal colored paint on my thumb. So I did that on several places in the whole thing, and maybe it was just a bad spot. No. So I spent, what, 3 hours Saturday morning cleaning everything off. I mean, you can see if it took me 3 hours to get the whole hull back down to the primer again, then it was pretty poor paint, and I'll never use Valspar again. So I got another quart of the Ultra Cover from Rust-Oleum that I'm going to put on. I got to redo the tape around the edges because when I was using the water, and use a little bit of vinegar, not much, but just water and scraping and a little wire brush and a scruffy with some Bon Ami, and I was able to get it all off. And if you can see down on the side here, I got down that Rust-Oleum is really tenacious stuff, so the primer, so I'm really happy with that. I'll keep using that again. I got a little bit of, you know, dust I gotta clean off, and I'm going to give it another sanding, which I'm going to do right now with some probably some 150, and then I'm going to clean everything up. I got to retape the edges because the water soaked the paper and the taper I had around it, and I got some. I'm going to have to redo the edge here on the rail. Let me explain. Down along here, I got to redo this, but that's no problem. I'll do that after it's painted. So let me get to it, and I'm going to. I think it's going to be a red, a colonial red. Rust-Oleum has pre-mixed color. And it's a pretty boat. I haven't had a red boat yet, even though the paint lady Sarah was saying, well, you should go with the hunter green, even because all my fly fishing boats have been green. All the Flycaster and the Hudson Springs Pram hulls prototypes have been green, but yeah, it's time for a change up. So, but who knows? It may be green. We'll come back. Well, got the coat of primer back on. And so I'm really amazed at this Rust-Oleum's Ultra Cover primer, because it's drying right now. Probably another hour it'll be completely dry. So I'm really impressed, but I'm going to let it set overnight, and probably maybe Monday, well, today's Sunday, maybe tomorrow or Tuesday I'll start putting the paint on. And I'm going to use, I don't know if this red, they call it Colonial Red, and it's kind of a dark burgundy red, and I think that's going to look pretty. So we'll come back when we start putting the paint on.